Hey everyone, so as we're moving into inferences and text evidence, we need to also start understanding how to respond to short answer questions. And this should not just be one-word responses or 2 words or even half a sentence sometimes. We need to start understanding that there is a framework when you're writing your responses. And when you're writing the responses, you want to be using text evidence in those responses. So we have this method called RTQT. And with RTQT, first off, what is it? That's an excellent question. So RTQT gives you a framework to use in order to answer open response questions about a text. It provides you with a way to answer questions with supports and details. And this is the important part, that you are answering questions and supporting those answers. And this is a skill that you're going to want to use from here through college, whenever. You're going to want to be able to do this. And again, back to what I was saying about inferencing, it's the same thing in the real world. Like, you don't want to sit there and make a comment about something and then have no way of supporting the comment that you made. Because there will be people that maybe don't know as much as you and won't call you out on it. But then there's going to be people that know as much or more than you, and they're going to call you out on it. And maybe you have one way to defend what you said, but then they have 6 ways to defend what they think. And then you might look foolish to them. And so you just want to be prepared for any situation. And to do that, you need to support your responses to things. So the first thing is this R here, and this is where you restate the question. Pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. Use as many words from the question as possible and then write your answer, right? This will be your topic sentence and it will direct the rest of your response. So the first sentence to your response is just restating the question. That's all that is. And so ask yourselves at your group, why do we need to restate the question in the first sentence? Why do we think that's important? So unpause my video and ask yourselves that question. So coming back to the video, I'm hoping that we came to the conclusion it's important, because now I know what it is you're talking about, but I also know that you know what it is you're talking about. And so you are able to now have a clear idea about your topic. You know what it is that you are answering. So where did Maddie find the baby unicorn is our question. So your answer will be correct as long as you restate the question. Tip is to underline words in the question you can use in your response, right? And so the words I would underline here, Maddie found the baby unicorn. I would use all of those in my response as I restate the question. So here you're going to restate the question. The first one I'm going to do with you, I'm not going to type it out. You just have to listen. But I would say, Maddie found the baby unicorn on top of the Empire State Building. Guess what? That's right. You know why that's right? Because I restated the question. Okay? And so now we're going to have a bunch of just different examples, and I just want you to answer them the same way. Restate the question. Okay? So here, Maddie the baby unicorn after she found it. So you would say, Maddie blanked the baby unicorn after she found it. What did she do? All right, here we go again. How did Maddie save the baby unicorn from the zombie attack? Where were the zombies after the baby unicorn? And why was Maddie so surprised? Okay, now moving on from restating the question into tell your thoughts. You probably had to pause me here so that you can get caught up by answering all those questions. But to tell your thoughts. So now, right, you've restated the question. What happened in the passage that made you answer the way you did? This is your why. So explain your thinking. Some sentence starters are, this is demonstrated when, or I think this because, or this is proven by, and then you say whatever. So this is your second sentence here. And in your second sentence, you are, Maddie found the baby unicorn on the Empire State Building, and then you go into, this is demonstrated by the fact, and then explain that she's on top of the Empire State Building. You know it is because it's in New York City. It's in Manhattan. One of the tallest buildings in the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is how you would do the telling your thoughts portion here. Okay. Now from telling your thoughts, now this may be one of the most important steps here. You want to add a quote. So you want to provide a quote that supports your answer. So whatever you have said thus far, this should be supported by something from the text. And it makes your answer stronger. It can be any sentence from the text that you think best strengthens your answer. So sentence starters here are on page here. The author says this, or the character says this. For example, the text states, for instance, this character states on page blank, whatever, and then you throw in your direct quote. Now, as we talked about last week, I want to say I met with everyone and talked to you about what a direct quote is. A direct quote is literally anything, as we just said, from the text using quotation marks, but you have to still reference back to the text. This is so important because, and I stress this to no end, okay? You can make an argument about literally anything that a text is about. You could say that a text is about anything you want to say it is about, as long as you can support it with evidence from the text. If you say it's something and there's nothing in the text, you are wrong. But if there's just even a smidge of the text that you could tweak or manipulate into other people agreeing with you, and it's supported by the text, you're right. And no one can make that argument with you. And that's what, to me, is one of the most fun things about literature, is being able to find something that I really want to talk about from a text and just running with it, just off of one little piece of information. So, anywho, this is super important. You have got to quote your text, and you've got to support everything that you've said before with this quote. And then the last thing, why can't you just answer the question and leave it? What's the point of providing a quote? I think I kind of went into all of it. It supports your argument, right? It really supports whatever your argument is. And if you don't have that support, you don't have an argument, plain and simple. So finally, you go into the detail of why you chose that quote. So this is another why sentence, like the one after, like your second sentence, the tell me why sentence. So this time you are going to explain the purpose of the quote you selected. This quote shows, this proves, this illustrates. Now, notice with RTQT, restate the question, provide your basic answer, tell your thoughts and explain your thinking, include a quote from the text that supports and strengthens your answer, and then this shows why after you've chosen that quote. Notice here, I did not tell you to write one-word responses. I did not tell you to write even a two-sentence response. This is a 4-sentence strong response. And it's going to take us some time to get here, but we are going to work at this. And we are going to get to a point where we stop submitting 2-word responses, 3-word responses that have careless grammatical errors in there because we didn't take the time to restate the question, to tell our thoughts, to include a quote, and to tell me what that quote shows. We are going to work towards this. And we're going to start today with a partner. You and your partner are going to read Tater Tot Day, okay? And then you are going to fill in an RTQT on this assignment, on this passage, all right? And then you're going to switch with another partner or partner group and answer their question using the RTQT format, okay? So you and the partner are going to come up with something, and then you're going to switch with another partner. And when you have done this, you're going to complete your response, switch back, review their answer to make sure it follows the RTQ format. Highlight the R in yellow, the green in blue, or the T in green, the Q in blue, and the other T in pink. So here is your response. The group that you switch with is going to respond on this, and you're going to look it over and see if it follows these 4 things, okay? That is the RTQT method, and I'm excited for us to start using it. If you have any questions, you always know to let me know, and I will be there for you. All right, bye everybody.